reason Olive hates the light.
Hey, Maniacs.
Hey, Midsomer Maniacs.
Woohoo!
Snow on the ground, January. You know what time it is. Brand new Midsomer episode time.
Book of the Dead.
Midsomer Maniacs is part of the Maniac...
Mystery Maniac?
Midsomer Maniacs is part of the Maniac Network.
Oh, are we a network
Yeah,
now?
I guess so. What other Maniac shows could we have that begin with M? The Meat Maniacs.
Oh, I don't want to be on that
No, I
show.
don't want to be on that show. What else could we do? The Mirror Maniacs. Look at this mirror.
Mighty Maniacs?
That did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers recaps.
Milk Maniacs.
Oh,
It's all about milk. No, thank you.
Mystery Maniacs is a comedy recap podcast dedicated to mystery TV. Each week, we dig into an episode of the show, including the murders, the mayhem, the loonies, and everything else we love. Oh my God, this episode took me so long to get through because there's so much stuff in it.
Yeah, we're talking about season 24, episode 2 of Midsomer Murders.
Book of the Dead.
It's the wrong title.
It's the wrong title.
But okay, it should just be called like Puzzle of Death or Seekers of Death.
If you let your children obsess over a puzzle book created by someone who lives in your house for numerous years, so much so that they have a conspiracy hut,
then they can probably listen to this. Unless you think it'll just encourage them or something. Wow. You don't want to.
Wow, this is the most bonkers episode we have had in at least 3 or 4 seasons.
And it's bonkers in a way that Midsomer is really good at being. It's not that there are wackadoodle characters, yes.
Yes.
But the whole premise of it is so quintessentially Midsomer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That there is a book that is filled with puzzles that lead to a treasure that is worth a life-changing amount, and that we see hardly ever full pages of it, but we see glimpses of it everywhere. I think it's the kind of thing that somebody who likes mysteries would be attracted to, so it's a clever kind of plot device for Midsomer to use.
Yes.
It appeals to the audience.
It does.
It'd be like if they were having a murder mystery party. You know, we'd be into that.
Sometimes when they give the premise of the show away, you're like, I wonder why they're doing that. But this one, you're like, oh, yeah, I get that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original air date is the 11th of December, 2023, a mere
month ago.
Directed by Gil Wilkinson and written by Jeff Povey.
Remember, we're going to spoil this episode, so if you have not seen Book of the Dead yet, please don't listen any further. Stop. Nope. When it's available to you, listen to our mini episode, which is spoiler-free, first, then watch it, then come back and listen to this. We don't want to ruin it for you. It's a brand new episode, and you won't want to watch it knowing who did it.
That being said, I know some of our listeners actually listen to it anyway.
Even if they haven't watched it?
No, we're just that funny.
I don't know about that.
Ask our children.
I just think they know that for somebody who likes the show, it doesn't really ruin it for you. You'll watch it anyway. So, that's all good. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But just don't turn around and go, but you said who did it. We told you we were going to.
Yep.
We're going to say who did it.
The other spoiler of this episode is we think we talked about these things in the past. But we're on episode 190 now, and I can't remember everything we've talked about in that space of time.
We're having a bit of deja vu about a couple of topics, so I'm not going to say I don't think we've talked about them. I feel like we have, but I can't remember when. But it's fine.
We searched our notes and we couldn't find it.
It's fine. We'll have fun anyway. It doesn't matter.
It's 2 possibilities. One, you remember that, and we didn't go into it nearly as much as we're going to go into it today. So there's that added bonus. And if you don't remember, well,
it's new to you.
Neither do we. It's new to you.
Oh, it's just another fun part of getting old.
Welcome to episode 190.
I just bought a lamp to sit next to the chair I sit in when we watch TV. that has a 5 times magnifying light on it so that I can see when I'm sewing sitting there, because I've been doing a lot of hand sewing lately and I couldn't see to thread the needle.
Well, in that room, our living room has the worst lighting.
It is very bad lighting.
Well, the whole house, that's the worst. Our house, the people who owned it before are very nice people, but they decided to light from the outside and not from the center.
Of any room. Yeah. It's all like down lights around the edge of the room for dramatic effect, but not for being able to see squat. And so you can't just put a lamp in the middle of a room and fix that.
You at least sit under the ring of light in the living room. I sit in the darkness that is the middle of the room.
Yeah, so you can't see anything.
No, I can't.
I'm surprised you can use the remote.
I couldn't read a book.
No way.
Definitely couldn't read a book.
But getting that lamp.
I'm in the zone of darkness.
It has a little bendy arm that I can bend over so I can hold my sewing underneath the big magnifying glass. And I just felt like, oh, hello, Mark. Thank you for coming to visit me in the nursing home. It's so nice of you. Did you bring me any chocolates?
Oh,
yeah, I feel like an ancient. And Olive hates it with a red hot passion.
Oh, my gosh. Olive.
As soon as I plugged it in, she's like...
For some reason, Olive hates the light. You don't understand.
It's offended her in some way. So, forgetting whether we've covered a topic in a past episode is just another link in the chain of oldness.
Now, I'm going to say something here that we haven't talked about, but I noticed it on viewing. Whenever there's something bad happen or about to happen or ominous, if you watch the episode again, the Trask sign is in the background.
Huh.
It's really...
the farm shop?
No. The Trask contractor sign.
Oh.
That's outside the church at the beginning.
Oh. They
totally use that as here's our clue.
Hey, guess who did it?
Yeah.
This guy.
Oh, okay. We're going to get into this. But the art direction team for this episode, this may go down as their favorite episode.
It should.
Because
it's great.
They do all sorts of crazy stuff.
And they got to do so many fun things. Like whoever got to design the book itself and do the illustrations for the pages must have had so much fun. Because they got to create all those illustrations and put in all kinds of crazy objects that should look like clues that are clues to nothing. Nothing. And they don't have to worry about whether they make sense or not. It doesn't matter. It's so fun.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've designed so many games myself that I know how hard it is.
It's impossible.
It's really difficult to create puzzles like that. And the fact that they could create something that looks like that, but doesn't actually, it doesn't have to work.
My favorite is on the new page. There's just an ice cream cone sitting
there. Yeah. Okay, so we're in Maud's Mire, where we've never been before.
No.
We also have 8 Watch Like a Maniac questions that we asked in the mini.
Yep.
We'll highlight where those are as we talk through the episode and all the craziness. And we are in the new cop shop now.
Cop shop B. Yes.
The annex?
So just
no, they've moved.
Just in the opening.
They make no note of it at all. They just moved.
Just in the cold opening. Just in the cold opening alone. We have the book cover.
Yeah.
We have posters.
Yeah.
We have the Seeker t-shirt. Did you see the Seeker t-shirt and what it said?
Are you the Seeker?
Are you that Seeker?
Yeah. Well, one of the ladies that comes to the book signing has that shirt on, but she also has a bucket hat on.
Yeah.
That has this non-attached bit that's supposed to look like it's on the hat, but isn't, that says, I'm that Seeker.
All of that before we even get a line of dialogue.
Never mind Selena Cadell.
Okay.
Who's been in Midsomer twice before.
When is Selena going to die? Because she is spectacular.
You know she's going to be a victim. Yeah. And her name is Venisha Butts.
She dies
it just gets better all the time.
She dies in every episode she's in.
Mm-hmm. I think it's in her contract. I think Selena won't agree to be on Midsomer unless she gets to be a victim.
She's absolutely fantastic. Did you notice? And right away, I'm noticing things like this. The guy comes up to Bertram to sign his book. Bertram signs
and steals his pen.
And steals his pen.
He hands him his book and his pen to autograph the book.
Yep.
And then like puts his hand out for his pen back, and Bertram just puts it in his pocket, and he's like, oh, well. And it's a nice pen.
Yep.
It's not like a Bic.
No.
It's like a clicky pen.
Yep.
Pretty clicky pen.
Pretty clicky pen.
There you go.
And Ludo is in the front row. We had a Watch Like a Maniac question that was related to Ludo.
Yeah, it was number 3. Why is Ludo's name important? This is quite the nerdy question. This whole episode is about a big puzzle, about a game.
Yes.
Ludo
is Ludology is the study of games and puzzles.
Yes, so he's Ludo.
Yep.
It's also my favorite character from Labyrinth.
Yes.
The big guy with the ring in his nose.
Yes.
Ludo's sad.
Yes.
The biggest Muppet ever.
Yep. It's very big.
This character, Ludo, resembles that Ludo not a single bit. They have nothing in common.
No.
They have the same number of limbs. That's about it. So yeah, so that was that one. It's Ludology. It's the study of games and puzzles, and we thought that was a funny reference.
Okay, Sarah, you've written a book in which there's a puzzle. No one has solved this puzzle for 10 years. Okay, we're going to do a new version of the book. With a new page. This is all from when we get to talking about Masquerade, because it went through something similar, right? You're going to have a newspaper person interview your author.
Yep.
Would you not vet this person before that?
Vet who?
Which? The reporter who's going to ask the questions.
What do you mean?
Like, would you not say, ask these questions?
Oh, like would you not set up some parameters for the interview?
Yes.
Especially since it's being done in front of an audience.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-on-one interview.
Yeah.
You could, but it doesn't prevent her from asking something that you didn't agree to.
Maybe.
People do it all the time.
But we've both worked with publishers. No publisher would ever agree to anything like this.
But they also don't know that there's anything to ask about.
That's true. I love how the publisher characters are never seen or discussed again.
Her name is Jane. That's it. She's Jane, the publisher, and she's like, I'm out of here. You're a crank. Goodbye, con man.
Look, there's a rooster on the church. Is that a clue? No.
No. See, that's how this episode...
The whole episode is like this.
It messes with you because you're in this mindset of a puzzle solver because everybody in the episode is solving puzzles, but they don't mean anything. I found myself going, what was that? Are they trying? What does that mean? What? Nothing. It means nothing, Sarah. Nothing.
So the cover of the Seeker book has 4 puzzle pieces on it. One is of a pirate. He's got a hook in his hand.
They're little vignettes from pages in the book.
One is of Stonehenge, one is a Golden Knight, and the other is a bus driver.
Did you notice I got the book out?
Yes, you did. Sarah has a book.
As soon as I saw the book, I was like, pause it.
Yeah.
The first time we watched the episode, I'm like, pause it. I think I have that book. And I go looking around, and it was because our house is pitch black all the time, and it was nighttime. I couldn't find it then.
We live in eternal dark.
Because our library has one bulb lamp for a room that is 20 by 10 easy.
We're not trying to get a sponsorship
from light bulbs. I couldn't find it, but then I did find it, and I have a book called Puzzlecraft that is about making puzzles that looks amazingly like the front of this book, and it predates this episode. So
I will put it in the show notes.
It's a great book if you design puzzles,
but
if you don't, it's a nerd book. But it looks just like it.
If we were to say, I don't know, interview the person who did the art direction for this episode,
we would have to ask them if they own the book. We would have to
ask them if they own that book.
Because it looks just like it.
Just like it.
Nerdville.
Okay.
Also at the event where the reporter asks, so are you still a con? Do you still beat your wife? That kind of leading question. And outs Bertram. We have the most amazing crowd of civilians in the seats.
You thought the bucket hat was good.
I am that seeker hat was excellent, but not nearly as excellent as the pink-haired lady.
There is a lady. She's about 3 rows from the back on the right.
We'll have a screenshot
the
of her.
right-hand side of the screen, and she has a gorgeous mohawk.
Yeah, it's not just pink hair. It's hot, bright pink. And most of her head is shaved, except for a mohawk that is gathered into a series of little ponytails of pink awesomeness.
She's fantastic.
Hardcore.
So fantastic.
And so not Midsomer.
No.
And there she is in the audience, happy as a clam.
Because usually when they do these crowd shots, you want indescript people.
Right.
Because you don't want anything drawing the attention away from your actors or the story.
Yep.
And that is completely understandable.
But if there's somebody in that crowd who betrays that rule, we will find them. We've found them before.
And Pinky is that lady.
Right on, Pinky.
She
you
is
go, girl.
Absolutely fantastic.
She's at least 45, if not 50.
Yes.
And working it.
Yeah.
We'll share a picture of her if you guys missed her. Best extra of the episode.
We find out he's a criminal, and then we begin to see parts of pages. Mm-hmm. The Mark spots an X. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, do I spot X's in this book. There's a page just lying on the ground that gets run over by a bike.
That has a double-decker bus on it?
Yes. And then there are Eli and what is this?
Danny.
And Danny, who are... Danny's done. She's like moving him out already.
You mean Madame Blanc?
Yes.
Because Danny's played by Sally Lindsay, who is still right now starring in the Madame Blanc mysteries.
Yeah, she just kind of did a gig here.
As soon as I saw her, I was like, Madame Blanc! And Eli is played by Sean Dooley.
Who is fantastic.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He was also in Left 4 Dead in season 11, but he was also in Misfits, which is not a show for everybody. I know we've talked about that before. But man, is it awesome. Misfits is so good. If you can handle a little bit of crude humor, it is so good. They're both really good actors.
You'd sell your sister for a slice of cheese and you don't even like cheese.
Yes. That's one of the best lines from that show. It's so good. Yeah. So Bertram has been crashing with them for 6 months.
So, okay.
And they are kicking his butt out.
He's been crashing with them for 6 months, but he's had some time to decorate.
It tells you everything you need to know about how egotistical he is, that he's been living there for 6 months, and we see a little sliver of his room, and he has 2 photos of himself up on the wall in this room.
One of them peering around a wall.
It's like a little peekaboo picture of him.
The work that went into this episode.
Yes.
Just think about how to get those pictures, to get them blown up.
Do you think that's one of John Culshaw's actor headshots?
I think
of him playing peekaboo?
I think that makes it simple, but they still had to blow them up and put them in frames.
Yes.
And then hang them on the wall the right way. Like, so much went into this episode.
But it says so much about who Bertram is.
Yeah.
That he has made himself quite at home.
Yes.
Basically, he's blackmailing them to even stay there.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about him staying there.
Okay.
Okay? Because I know this is a giant bee buzzing around your bonnet. So Ludo is their son.
Okay.
Right?
How old do you think Ludo is?
I think he's like 18.
Yes. He's a very young adult.
Eli and Danny Trask and their son, Ludo.
Yes.
And Bertram has been staying with them for 6 months. Now, Ludo is really, really, really into the Seeker, right?
Oh, come on.
So much so that he's got a Seeker shack.
He has a secret shack.
He's got a conspiracy hut, okay? He's really, 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 really into it.
In the show of conspiracy huts, this is one of the best ones.
It's quite the Seeker shack.
Yeah.
But then the author of that book comes to stay with you.
To live with you. Is it like sharing a bathroom with you?
Yes.
Would you not pester him constantly?
Well, first of all, it would be like, for Ludo, it's like a rock star came to live with you.
Yes.
That's amazing. Like, my dad knows this person.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been infatuated with this book, and now he's living with us. Yeah, you would talk to him every second of every day that you could. And we can only assume that Ludo has done that in the past and has been told to stop,
You
I guess.
couldn't help it.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't.
It'd be like your favorite band is living in your house.
Yeah. But then the problem arises that I came into at this point, right? Which is just imagine if Ludo won.
Yeah, if he found the treasure.
Okay, so this treasure hasn't been found for 10 years. We know that Winter, we haven't even talked about the Barnabys or Winter yet. We know that Winter is obsessed with this book, so much so he lost a girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay? You find out that the treasure's been found in the town where the author lives by a child in the author's house.
Yeah.
You
Sus.
would go ballistic.
Yeah.
You would be like, this is...
I think there'd be lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't help but suspect that it was a fix-up.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this. There have been a number of these before, the most famous of these being Masquerade.
These being books or stories that were put out into the world by authors that supposedly contained clues to a big treasure that the author had hidden somewhere in the world that you could find if you solve those puzzles. That has happened in the real world several times before.
The biggest and most well-known being Masquerade.
Yes.
Which is a book that was written in 78. Well, it was published in 78.
This is one of those things we think we may have talked about before,
Yes.
but we can't remember.
By
anyway.
Kit Williams.
Yes.
Now, 78, I was going to bookstores as much as I possibly could. I was reading voraciously at this point in time. So I absolutely remember this book. I remember it being a big thing.
It was a bestseller, right?
I remember
it was a big
wanting this book so that I could go through the picture clues to find the golden rabbit.
Yes.
Okay, I remember I would have been 10. This is like
Crack to a 10-year-old.
Right in my wheelhouse. And this is the most well-known and I would say almost the best run of all these. And it had lawsuits against it.
Yeah, it was not straightforward.
So the idea was that you're supposed to follow the clues and then you would find this golden rabbit that was hidden somewhere in the world. And that's why I didn't buy the book, because I was like,
I'll never be able to go and look for it.
I'm 10 and have no driver's license.
And my teleporter's broken.
And my
so,
parents don't even like driving to town. So, no, I will not be biking to
So
find.
did anybody ever find it? I don't remember.
It was a 18-karat gold jewel-encrusted pendant of a small hare.
That's not life-changing value.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been worth $1,000.
That was in a small ceramic casket. Are you getting this here?
Methinks the writer of this episode may have heard about it.
Yes. So it was found by a person, and then they published the solution in 1982. Is a book with all the solutions in it.
Oh.
But there was some scandal over it.
But I'm glad they did that, because
Yeah.
that provides satisfaction to all the people who were into it and didn't solve it.
Yeah, you can
To
buy
finally get the answers to everything would be so nice.
You can buy the book with all the answers in it. Do you know where the rabbit is now?
No.
It's in the V&A.
The Victoria and Albert?
Yeah, it's a piece of art in the Victoria and Albert
So
Museum.
where was it? Do you know where she found it? Like, was it buried, or was it like in a lockbox, or?
They found it in that ceramic thing using metal detectors somewhere in Ampthill.
Is that in England?
Yeah, I think so.
But you don't know where it was.
Yes, it's in
But like where, if
Berkshire.
it was buried,
Bedfordshire.
or if it
Yeah,
was,
it was
in
buried.
Okay.
So it was in Bedfordshire. I would not have found it.
No, I don't think you would have made it there.
No. But this is a rabbit hole. Let
Really,
me
for anybody to buy it outside the UK would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah. So this is 10-year-old Mark. This is, I want to go to England, Mark. This is, I love everything British, Mark. This is, I read voracious, like.
If I found it, it would change my life and get me out of this crap hole little town, Mark.
My little head must have exploded. But have you heard about the Fenn Treasure?
Well, let me ask you before we move on to that one.
Yeah.
Why did people sue?
Because they said that the person who found it knew him closely enough. It was like 3 people removed from him.
Was her name Ludo?
No.
Did he live with her?
No. And there was...
So they thought it was rigged.
Yeah, and there was an idea that it was just an excuse to get all this money to go to animal rights.
Okay.
So...
Well, I hope they raised money for animal rights.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me about the other one.
Fenn Treasure. So this guy named Forrest Fenn,
he's a character.
Is a dude already.
He's a freelance archaeologist who basically just plunders historical places and steals artifacts, especially Native American artifacts.
He writes this poem that supposedly has this treasure of gold and jewels at the end of it. 5 people die looking for this thing.
Yeah, because they climb cliffs in the southwest of the United States, like in the what's the name of the big hole?
Jackson's Hole.
No, the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
I couldn't think of it. I don't know why. The Grand Canyon, the big hole. Like people like climbing walls of the Grand Canyon because they think they know where it is, tucked in a niche somewhere.
So then it comes out. He said that somebody had found it. He wasn't going to release the name, and then he dies.
Yeah, and that's it. We'll never know.
No, it's well known that it was this guy from Texas.
But there are stories of people going on like multi-week road trips together who don't even know each other, but they're all on the trail.
Yep.
And they get together, pile in a car, drive across the country, go to all these places, find nothing, lose their jobs,
but
fall off cliffs, you know.
I found the bottom of this rabbit hole with its golden rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom of this rabbit hole is a television show from the 2002 season, which was entitled...
I think I know. Is it called Push Nevada?
Push Nevada.
If you've never heard of this, after you're done listening to this episode, of course, give it a Google. It's crazier than we can say.
Only 7 of the 12 episodes aired.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a puzzle wrapped up in a poorly written mystery show reminiscent of Twin Peaks, and they don't even air the whole show.
Created by Ben Affleck, with the final clue being revealed on the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It is so an American cock-up of a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
Produced by Ben and created by Ben Affleck.
They wanted people to be on the edge of their seats, you know, eager to see the next episode, talking about it. It was in 2002, so you had some internet going on, and they wanted it. I mean, it's Lost before Lost, right? I mean, it was supposed to be really big deal, and it was too weird. Because it was too Twin Peaksy.
New Jersey resident Mark Nakamoto won the grand prize by calling the appropriate number at the right time during Monday Night Football.
That's how you won.
Yeah.
And what was the prize?
It was 10 G's, I think.
$10,000?
Yeah.
Whoopity-doo.
I would like 10 G's, but I don't think it was worth what there was 13 episodes originally planned. Oh my gosh. And the character list is just weird
there's like psychic stuff and mind control, and the whole town is in cahoots, and an FBI agent. I mean, it is bad Twin Peaks. That's the only way I can describe it.
Yep. So I'll put a link to all this in the show notes.
Needless to say, the plot of this episode of Midsomer is original for Midsomer, but based on some things that happened in real life, inspired by things that happened in real life. This has happened. And that's not even to talk about all the alternate reality games that have happened that have had people traveling all over the world looking for clues and solving puzzles and answering public telephones and all kinds of other stuff that have happened since then, right? So it's not an original idea for this, but certainly Ludo should not be allowed to win if there even were a real treasure at the end of this.
Especially when Bertram then shows him the missing page.
Yeah, the new page gives him the clue.
Before Bertram is killed, he shows the new page, which includes a mermaid snake thing, an ice cream cone, a turtle,
Well, every illustration features Bertram, too.
Yes, Bertram in a Buddhist position in front of a stained glass window that's not in a church.
It's floating in the sky.
And basically says, I'm not a con man. I'm not a con man.
Yeah. So if you were going to design a game like this and hide a treasure, where would you hide it?
Oh, I have the perfect spot.
Where?
So if constant listeners would know, I spent all of the summers growing up till I was 16 at a campsite. This is why I never went on summer vacation.
On a lake.
Because my parents said, we drove 15 minutes away to a lake. That's your summer vacation.
Mm-hmm. You get to sleep in this
tent trailer.
Camper.
So this lake, which was 40,000 hectares, giant lake, in the middle of the lake, there is 2 islands, Big Island and a Little Island.
And nobody lives on those islands?
No one lives on those islands. I actually swam to the Big Island once.
And they must be public land.
A mile and a half from the shore. And in that, of course, as you can imagine, there are teenagers on this lake. So there is like a campsite at the top of this outcropping on this island that has this cave-like indentation near it that has a spot in it that is behind that, which you could hide something about this big and no one would ever
They can't
find.
see how big
No.
that is.
Like it's about a space about
Like
a
liquor,
foot square.
like a liquor bottle size you could hide.
You could easily. I found liquor bottles in that particular spot.
That's where you would hide it?
Yeah.
That's smart because it's on public land, so people could definitely get there. Years back, Dr. Pepper did a game where there was a promotion where you could find these coins that were worth anywhere from like $10 to one was supposed to be worth $100,000. And they had clues, like latitude and longitude clues on the lids of soda pops and stuff. And one of the places they hid one was in a national cemetery in Washington, D.C. And people scaled the fence to get to like Benjamin Franklin's grave or something crazy like that to find. And so because they broke the law to get to the coin that was worth a lot of money, it was worth like $20,000 or something. Dr. Pepper voided it because they didn't want to reward them for breaking the law to get it.
That convenient.
But people were upset about that.
I would assume.
I think I would want to hide the treasure somewhere where I could keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
So I would know that it's still there.
Like that.
But then it'd be really easy to find because people would just stalk me.
That island, you could
and look where I went.
Easily put a camera on that island, and it's close enough to shore that you could
get Wi-Fi signal from it.
Get Wi-Fi signal from it and stuff like that. Yeah,
and keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
yeah. You'd have to do something like that. Otherwise,
like
somebody could have found it years ago and you wouldn't even know.
A trail camera that uploaded once a week.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
You certainly couldn't hide it literally in the middle of nowhere and not know for sure whether somebody had found it or not. Because they might keep quiet about it, right?
Yes.
You find that jerk archaeologist guy's treasure, and it was supposedly like a little box of like golden coins and gems, which you can easily sell yourself. You don't have to like go through him to get the value from them. So there'd be no reason for you to say anything about finding it if you didn't want to.
No.
And he'd never know.
There are so many problems with these, and people keep doing them.
Yeah. So we've got the Trasks, right? We've got Eli, Danny, and Ludo. Bertram lives with them. Then we also have the Butts.
The Butts.
Venisha Butts. And then her son.
Reverend Butts.
Sebastian Seb, the Rev Butts.
The Rev Butts.
And his wife, Ava Butts. And
Mrs. Butts.
I'm really trying not to make Butts jokes, but come on. Their last name's Butts.
Wow. They like did that to the camera the whole time.
And Othello Kahn.
Oh, we're going to get to Othello Kahn. There's so much we have yet to talk about.
That's a supervillain name.
Yes, Othello Kahn is the supervillain of the episode who gets away.
He's played by Omid Jolly, who I know is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
The first time I saw him in the episode, I'm like, where'd he get all that hair?
Yeah.
His head is a cue ball.
Yeah. Have we seen him on Taskmaster? No, he's not.
But we've seen his stand-up. He's very funny.
By the way, one of our listeners suggested that we might watch Taskmaster this week.
Oh.
And they sent a link to one of the episodes. One of our favorites, the Gong Bong one.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thanks. You're absolutely right. It is the kind of thing we like. We love that show.
We love that show so much that we do Taskmaster at work.
Yes, we do.
I did it in school for a while.
During COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they were doing the at-home Taskmaster, you were doing it at home with your students.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Right on.
Right on. And then we have the My Hills.
Yes. Joel and Scarlett.
Well, don't forget Helena and her memorial quiz.
She wasn't even into quizzes that we know of.
She's died 25 years ago, but now after
24, I think.
Yes, 24. After 19 years.
Hey, let's have a quiz for Mom.
Yeah, like 16 years.
Yeah.
Let's have a quiz for Mom.
Because now we own this pub and we can finally have the quiz that we always wanted to have for Mom.
For Mom. Bertram shows up and leaves because he's going to go hide the treasure. We are 8 minutes into the episode, and I spend the next 40 minutes of my life dissecting how this murder could not happen.
Okay, so let's talk about it first. Let's talk about what Bertram is doing.
Yeah.
So the idea is he's going to go out and he's going to bury this golden angel.
In a ceramic box. We've heard that before.
Yeah.
In a giant terrarium.
Glass globe underground. He's going to dig a hole and bury it because people are suspicious that there actually is no treasure. And he thinks by pretending to bury it and sharing a picture that he's able to prove there is a treasure.
Yes.
Right? So I'm not a con man. There is a treasure to be found. It can be solved.
Yes.
Now, one of our Watch Like a Maniac questions was what would not fit in Bertram's backpack? And the answer is that giant glass globe that is bigger than his backpack.
Yes.
But he supposedly took it with him.
I know for a fact that globe would weigh at least 40 pounds.
Yeah, because it's heavy.
Yeah.
The art direction in this, the production is great, except for that angel. It's brass all day long, or it's gold plastic.
I think it's meant to be
either way.
Look really crappy. It's meant to look really crappy.
I'm not buying that because everybody who sees it first person thinks it's valuable.
Yeah, that's the problem I have with it.
Right? When Venisha gets her hands on it, she's like, oh,
yeah.
You know, I'm going to sell this and it's going to change my life. It's worth so much.
Like Jamie should look at it and go, this is a piece of tat.
Even if it was solid gold, it wouldn't be enough money to change your life.
No.
Maybe pay off your car. No. Maybe if gold prices were good.
So Bertram gets whammoed in the head.
Yes.
By the shovel. Mm-hmm. And then after he's taken pictures and sent them to Ludo. Never mind the fact that I would be a kind of weird if my middle-aged lodger who was blackmailing me was sending pictures to my son at night on his phone.
Ludo's old enough that they don't know what he's getting on his phone.
Never.
Do you know who sent our kids pictures last night? No, of course not.
But still.
They don't know.
Anyways,
okay.
Then
Eli is a killer. It's okay if he's not a good parent.
Okay.
Okay? Give him a pass.
That may be the quote of the episode.
You want to indict him for being a bad parent. He kills 3 people. Okay, he's got problems.
So Bertram gets whammoed, and then we see Bertram buried up to his neck. Mm-hmm. Now,
not in sand or gravel or peas or something like that.
And the dirt are not disturbed.
Forest floor.
It's as if he's been teleported into the forest floor.
Yes.
The glass globe is placed on his head, and he wakes up, and then suffocates. By blowing smoke in the terrarium. Okay.
We're all with you so far.
Okay. So
you're so stressed out about this.
To dig a hole First of all,
wait a minute. Have you dug a hole in our backyard I don't know about?
no, but I watched a 90-minute video on digging a well with a shovel.
Well, that one time you did drop a knife off of our deck to see what would happen. So I'm not putting it past you that you wouldn't try to dig a hole.
So, first of all, I watched a video about digging hole tool, and that shovel is the worst tool to dig a hole.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you would think that a contractor would know that. Mm-hmm. Okay. He went out there with intent to kill him.
Yeah.
Okay. Second.
But wait a minute. Eli didn't choose the shovel.
No.
I would assume he has other shovels to choose from.
So he brought some?
And it's Bertram who chose poorly. The shovel that would kill him.
Bertram chose poorly.
Bertram should have picked a better hole digging shovel for his killer.
Dooley is a tall man, but to get that hole, he needs a bucket at the very least.
Yes.
I watched a video about a guy digging a well with just a shovel, and he came after 90 minutes. He got to the point where it was at his neck level, and he said, you could not do this without a bucket. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Does not have the right tools.
And a pile of dirt right next to the hole, right? Where you're dumping the bucket.
Pile of dirt right next to the hole. Bertram, did he have a tape measure? Because he measures it exactly how tall Bertram has to be. And you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter how tall he is. Yes, it does, because in order to suffocate with the glass thing around his head, it has to be a perfect seal. If it's not a perfect seal, he's not going to suffocate.
More importantly, the dirt needs to be up to his neck.
Yes.
Because if it's not, if it was up to, let's say, the top of his shoulders, he might be able to wiggle his arms free.
Yes.
Right? Now, I'm going to say that Eli has spent enough time with Bertram that he knows roughly how tall he is, and that if he's got to be in the hole to dig it that deep, that he could probably estimate it.
What I imagine is this Keystone Caper kind of thing where he's putting Bertram in the hole and taking him back out again.
He's dunking him in the hole to see if it fits and then laying him down again.
I got to go down another 6 inches.
But never mind that he's had to excavate the top 2 inches of soil as like a disc and neatly place it to the side.
Yes.
So that he can put it back perfectly, and cut a hole for Bertram's head in the middle of it, and then put it over his head like a donut. And mash it down to match it.
Then with that airtight seal, it would not be airtight. And that exact moment is when Bertram wakes up, not during the in and out of the hole.
Yeah, or when he's teleported into the ground or anything. And I think he would already start to feel like he couldn't breathe from the pressure of the dirt.
That is a factor that I did not work in. So that ball of glass thing
sphere,
would be roughly 10 gallons. Mm-hmm.
Because the hole is big enough to go over his head. Yes. There's quite a bit of room around his head in that globe.
The respiratory volume of a middle-aged man.
Oh my gosh, you're such a nerd.
Is 6 liters per minute.
You're on a list now. You know I'm already on the list. You're on the list for bad Googles. Definitely.
So that 10 gallons would be 36 liters of gaseous volume, so he would take 6 minutes at least to die.
Well, to be fair, you don't know how long it's been on his head when we see him wake up.
Yes.
Maybe he's been in there for a few minutes already.
Meanwhile, the biggest problem is Venisha is in the woods and sees this. Mm-hmm. Why is she in the woods?
Because she's followed him.
Did she not say, stop?
No, she sat and ate a sandwich while Eli was test dunking him in the hole.
It would take 90 minutes to dig that hole.
She's been hanging out.
With the right tools.
She's been hanging out for 2 hours.
Did she bring some sandwich?
That's what I'm saying. She's got a snack, little flask of tea. She's just chilling out. Never crosses her mind to stop him or anything.
Far too much of my life investigating this single murder scene, only to, in the next scene, be even more upset because what time do you wake up and eat breakfast in the Barnaby home?
Before you get there, I'll tell you, I didn't know how much you had dug into this. I didn't mean that. How much you looked into this. So I did a little bit of looking into it and got as far as how, oh my God, dangerous it is to bury people in sand up to their necks.
Oh, I
stopped.
I ran into a number of videos of people who dig big holes at beaches and die.
Yeah.
It's Like
on accident because it caves in on them, but also because it's fun to bury people up to their necks.
Don't do that.
It's not.
Don't ever do that.
Now, if you're laying down,
it's
different.
different.
Or if you pile the sand up onto somebody, that's different. But if you dig down and put somebody in it and bury them up to their necks for a joke, there was an Austrian swimmer in Florida who had to spend a lot of time in a hospital after he was rescued because he got buried in the sand up to his neck as a joke.
Easily break
and almost
your libs.
Died. Yep.
Easily collapse your lungs.
Yep. It's
don't
bad.
do it.
Don't do it. It's not fun.
Eli, don't do it.
Anyway.
Why didn't she say that?
Because
she's in the bushes with a flashlight looking at the pages.
She's got her mouth full of, jam sandwich.
I guess.
It is Venisha, but come on. No. Barnaby gets interrupted while eating breakfast by Sarah, who wants him to quiz her because she's going to be in the memorial pub quiz. And he complains because she's interrupting his breakfast at 9:15 in the morning.
What do these people do with their lives?
He should be at work for hours.
Absolutely.
It's clearly a work day because he's dressed for work.
I know.
It's not like a weekend where he gets called in.
No, I know that we are people who wake up early.
We get up at 5:15.
We get up very early in the morning.
Because we're dorks.
But we get up before 9:15 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe he's eating breakfast at 9:15. I've completely reevaluated my relationship to this character.
Let's imagine. Let us imagine he showered that morning. Okay? So we'll give him 30 minutes for a shower.
Oh my gosh, you can't do this.
Okay.
Maybe he woke up at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Exactly. Yeah. What are you doing with your life, John Barnaby?
We don't have to walk it backwards time-wise.
Oh, God.
So Eli and Danny, the murderer and his wife, own a farm shop.
Yes.
And a tea shop.
Yes.
And Winter and John go there, and John eats Winter's piece of cake. And this is one of those examples where it's like the man keeping the little guy down, mistreating your employees. I don't find it amusing. I think he's a jerk for doing it.
I don't like
Enough said.
That he eats his cake. No.
Venisha is deep in debt.
I need to hide these and look at my email. Oh boy, what did we find in Venetia's email?
Her clairvoyant.
Yeah, so before Reverend Butts
Stop it! You're not in fourth grade.
Says that he
At least his name is Sebastian and not Seymour.
Says that he's given Sebastian, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've given money from the church fund. Did you notice how much was in the roof fund?
No.
1,000 pounds. So he's taken all of that.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And that wasn't enough anyway.
To give to his mother for psychics. How to get on the bullet train to heck.
How much money has she spent trying to solve this mystery so that she can get a treasure that isn't even worth as much as she spent to find it?
Yes. So in her
she's underwater already.
In her email, we found that her psychic's name was
Meg Anderson.
Meg Anderson.
I think she's Mystic Meg.
Mystic Meg.
Yeah,
yep,
absolutely. We got a screenshot of it. It's at 33 minutes, 43 seconds, but you skipped something really important.
Oh, there's so much that we skipped that's important, but
Othello's banned from the quiz for cheating.
Yes.
Though he still supports it enough to put a flyer up in his shop.
So I found Othello's shop.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're walking by towards Othello's shop, there's the name of a cottage.
You mean Kahn's Kollectibles with a K?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a sign on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I found this shop.
Where is it?
This shop is actually in a place called Penn, England.
Mm-hmm.
It's on 17 Elm Street, and it is called Strings.
Oh.
It's a string shop.
Okay.
Now,
you mean yarn or you mean like instrument strings?
Instruments.
Okay, like violin strings.
If you're an eagle eye, you notice in the last scene that Kahn is in when they're leaving through his door, the iron on his door is in the shape of violins.
Oh.
And his closed and open sign is in the shape of a body of a violin.
Nice.
So they're actually in the store.
Well, that store's having a big sale.
Yeah.
Can't you tell? It's got signs everywhere that say Big sale.
I'm a forgiving person, Sarah, but if I was banned from a trivia contest, I've not been banned from a trivia contest. I've been banned from playing Trivial Pursuit with friends, but that's another thing.
Yes.
I would not advertise said contest in my store.
No, I think I'd be a little bit too bitter to do that.
So he's in two places in a shop. What we should
Behind
do-
the register.
we should do all the con stuff.
Yeah.
Behind the register, or he's like in a little lounge chair. Mm-hmm. And there's a clock beside him in the lounge chair.
And something else.
And a thing that we don't.
This is one of our Watch Like a Maniacs. It was number 6. When it's 5:30 at Kahn's Collectibles, what does the clock point to? We don't have the answer. We don't know what it is.
The best thing I can think of is it is a panther on a tree limb.
That's what you think it is?
That's what I think it is.
I thought it was driftwood carved to look like a lady. Those could not be two more different things.
May also be a pipe.
It's a thing.
The other
We'll
thing,
post a screenshot of it, and hopefully somebody can figure it out.
the other thing that I noticed with Kahn's shop was when he's outside in his car when he's talking to Venisha. Did you notice the nosy neighbor that walks by at the door who stares
Yes.
at the camera the
Yes.
entire time, including when she's behind Kahn's vehicle? You can see through the window that she bends down a little bit to
Yes.
stare
To
at
get
the
a better
camera.
view. She's the nosiest background person ever.
Wow.
But you know what? I think that's exactly what somebody in Midsomer would do.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? What's going on here? Venisha Butts is up to something.
Butts. Oh my gosh, there's so much in this episode.
So
that
then
is
I suddenly, this is the point where I got really carried away, like looking for puzzles in the episode.
Yep.
Basically giving it more credit than it deserved, you know?
Sort of, until I found one thing, and we'll get to that. But
Because we know that Bertram Jewell isn't his real name.
yes.
Right? And his real name's Bertram, is Robert Grimes.
Yes.
Sorry. So he kept the Bert.
The Bert.
So I thought, okay, so Bertram Jewell is a name he chose.
Yes.
And if he's into puzzles, maybe it's an anagram.
Maybe, yes.
So I went online and used one of those handy dandy anagram solvers.
Yep.
And I found what his name actually is.
What
like
is it?
what he was trying to say.
What
with,
was he
with this
trying to
name
say
that he
with it?
chose? Well, it could be a few things.
Okay.
It could be
Butts?
I can't keep a straight face. It could be any of these things. Are you ready?
Yep.
You can choose which one you think Bertram was thinking of. Mr. Wee Table Jr. It could be that. It could be Beware Junior Melt.
Where Junior Melt?
Rare BMW Jet Eel. Or, I can't. The last one is Ram Jam Beer Welt. I think the secret message in his name is Mr. Wee Table Jr. But you can choose the one that you prefer. It could be Ram Jam Beer Welt. Who knows? Is that what happens at the pub?
We have, okay. So
Dogs and ducks are welcome at the pub, by the way.
There's a sign outside of the pub that says dogs and ducks are welcome. There is nowhere else in the universe that has that sign.
Dogs welcome, yes. Ducks? I don't want no stinking ducks in my pub. They poop on a whim, okay? And they can be really mean. And what if a goose comes in pretending to be a duck? Geese are super mean. Where can I find a mashie?
Where's the mashie?
This is one of the two questions we
yes,
see
at a
Sarah
golf
answer.
course.
Yeah. It's a kind of iron, a
Yes.
club. The other one is, what is a Streseman's bristle front? This is the one she doesn't get to answer because John's phone rings. Oh, do you know what a Streseman's bristle front is?
I don't.
It's a Brazilian bird. Now you know. There you go.
Now I know. Okay, so the quiz is at this place.
We are like 20 minutes into the episode, by the way. I'm just saying.
We're jumping around now. So this is my AAA fine for the episode.
Your AAA?
Yeah, my triple.
Your 5-star?
My 5-star fine
Okay.
for the episode.
What is it?
So in the pub, there is a trophy. Mm-hmm. And on that trophy...
This is the quiz trophy?
Yes, they're talking about how Kahn has won all the past championships.
Right.
Right? And they do a close-up on
He's won it for like the last 5 years or something.
Yeah. They do a close-up on it. Okay? It starts in 2016. Okay? Mm-hmm. It has 3 names, and then the rest are Kahn. So 2016, 2017, 2018
Kahn.
are all those
After
people,
that.
and then 2019.
Yeah.
They didn't stop for the pandemic, by the way. Not like the show did, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So the first name on this list is Chloe Freaks. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, tickety. Because that is a name of...
Somebody who makes up Venisha butts could make up Chloe Freaks.
Chloe Freaks.
Okay.
But no, Chloe Freaks is a real person. Mm-hmm. Chloe Freaks is the art director of this episode.
Oh, that's so smart of Chloe to put her own name on it. You go. That's fun.
We know that people on the show and people who make the show listen to this podcast. We know this for sure. This is confirmed by Annette Badland.
At least one.
Okay? Chloe.
If you're listening.
I've tried to friend you on Instagram. Please.
We think you're awesome.
Come on
we
our
want to
podcast,
talk to you.
Please. Because we have so many questions.
I think it's absolutely clever that she put her own name on the trophy. I think that's great.
Abby Bowers is her best friend and is the set director. Number 2.
Not like you're stalking them, though.
Not like I'm stalking. Michael Erlbach. I don't know who that is. I would bet a $5. It's the person who did the art for the episode.
Oh.
I bet a $5.
Okay.
And Chloe, if I'm wrong, I'll give you that $5 or give it to your favorite charity or whatever. But that's
we'll double it.
Yeah.
Tell us.
That's who I think.
But you got to reach out and let us know one way or the other. Make sure you put that in the show notes.
Yes.
So it's in text somewhere, so maybe she might see it. Send her a little @
when she does a little search for herself. Well, I'm putting that picture on a reel saying, Chloe, we saw what you did there.
We see you, Chloe, and we think you're awesome. Maybe
this should have won an award for set direction.
Yeah.
This episode, by far.
Unlike one of the earlier episodes way back when, where there was the sign that says dress set, do not mess up or whatever, and they forgot.
She's not part of that episode.
No,
she's only
I know.
done the last 3 seasons.
I know.
But wow. What we could learn from her.
I know.
Okay.
So Ludo keeps coming back to his secret shack and finding people in his secret shack. And I think maybe the problem...
He needs a lock on the secret shack.
He needs to close the secret shack door.
No.
Just close the door.
No.
He finds Barnaby in there. He finds Winter in there. He finds Venisha in there.
They're all in there.
Hanging out, looking through his stuff because he just leaves the door standing open. And I have to assume it's somewhere very near the farm stand and the tea shop.
Yes.
So people probably walk by the open and think, ooh, look.
Conspiracy hut.
Secret shack. I'm going to go in there.
Okay. Things in the conspiracy hut that we have yet to talk about. The gnome.
Yes.
With 20 question marks around it.
Yes. Ludo's a little worked up about that gnome. Sort of desperate to know what it means.
But our favorite is our little green friend.
So on the page that we see very early in the episode on the ground.
That has the bus on it.
That has the double-decker red London bus. There is a green alien on the front of it.
2. There's
2.
It's on both sides.
It's like a sticker on the bus.
Yep.
Which is funny because in my mind, I remembered it being behind the steering wheel. And that's not where the alien is.
I thought it was in the upper deck. But yeah.
It is the number 16.
Yes.
And that was one of our Watch Like a Maniac questions. What number does the alien ride? Number bus does the alien ride? It's the number 16 bus.
Yes.
And you see it blown up when Barnaby and Winter are in the conspiracy hut. You see that blown up right next to Barnaby.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. We have so much to cover. We need to move.
We do.
So Kahn sold Bertram the angel.
Yes.
So Kahn knows the angel is not the real treasure.
Yes.
Because the real treasure would have been buried 10 years ago, and Bertram's just now getting around to it, so it can't be real.
Yep.
So Kahn knows that Bertram is a Kahn.
Yep.
Not that it's a pun on Kahn.
No.
Kahn knows the Kahn. Danny's lying about knowing Bertram's history based on bank statements she found in his room.
Yes,
She
that's a
knows
lie.
because she knows.
Yep.
And Ava is having an affair with Bertram because her mother-in-law put her up to it. What?
That family is the worst group of people ever.
The Reverend's mother has put his wife up to having an affair.
After she embezzled thousands from the church.
Yes.
She is horrifically fantastic.
She's so desperate to have the solution to the puzzle. Like, what do you know this man? Do you think he ever had like $1 gazillion that he was able to hide? He gives us no indication of ever having enough money to legitimately have a treasure that was worth finding.
Okay.
Never mind that he's a con man and a liar and dead now.
Now let's play the game of what if she won?
Well, she wouldn't pay any of the money back. She'd probably just disappear with it.
Right. But still, again, this lady who was desperate for money because she embezzled it from the church, who lived in the same town as the guy who's one of her daughter-in-law was having an affair with, won the prize. Again this
sus.
Be the fact that they all live within walking distance of each other is problematic.
Well, then she dies.
Yes.
So Venisha dies.
Yes. That I don't believe that's Selena in the
sheet.
In the sheet.
No, I don't either.
I don't. The hips were wrong.
It's a ghost, basically. Yeah. So Venisha is strung up in the woods.
Okay, this death. She's suffocated with a bag. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with that.
That would work.
Now, how are you going to string her up with a sheet over her?
I assume you got to put the sheet on her after.
Okay. So we'll put the sheet on. Now, you brought the sheet because you're trying to recreate these pages.
Right.
Even though these are all rage killings, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind the fact that makes
So
no
you got to
sense.
find two trees that are the right distance apart.
Okay.
Ahead of time. Okay.
Now, she would meet him in the forest because she's blackmailing him because she saw that he killed
Bertram.
By the way, if you're blackmailing a killer, don't go to some place that has no people in it.
Venisha is a moron, if you haven't noticed. So
it's almost like she has a butt for a head. Sorry.
Here's what I think happened. Because Eli lures her there, he chooses the location.
Okay.
So he gets to stage it.
Okay.
Right? So he puts the ropes and the sheet, the tarp or whatever it is, a ladder or 5, his helpers, because he needs helpers. He can't do this alone unless he's way stronger than he looks. He gets to hide all of that in advance and then lure her to the location, suffocate her. Then he has to tie the rope around each of her wrists and then using like a truck or something that he's tied them off to, winch her up, secure the ropes, then climb the big ladder and put the sheet over her and align the face with her face.
Okay, folks, I'm going to get a bit
And
gross.
that's how it happens.
I'm going to get a bit gross here. Mm-hmm. Do you think Selena's elbows and shoulders and wrists could handle that?
I don't think that her arms would rip off, but I think they dislocate.
It's not nice.
Having looked into being hung, drawn, and quartered more than I should have, I know it.
We are the weirdest people.
It takes quite a bit of force to actually detach a limb. So I think she's a very slight woman.
Okay.
She's bird-like. I think it would be okay.
The other thing that we haven't even talked about briefly, Venetia's kitchen is 5-star.
Her house is. For somebody who's deep in debt, she has a beautiful house.
That house is gorgeous.
I love her house.
I absolutely love her.
I don't know what that, it's like a sideways railroad track mounted lattice thing that goes around her kitchen that has the ivy growing on it, but it's awesome.
You don't want ivy in the house. It gets everywhere.
It's beautiful though. It's really nice. So Venetia's dead. So now we've got 2 people dead, and Father Butts is starting to lose it.
Oh, Father Butts is.
He's ringing the bell and he's talking crazy and
because he's figured it out. Mm-hmm. And now this death is the most realistic because there are water leaking buckets around the church from the very beginning.
Right.
Now, that water would not be nice. Now, I realize he's going in there to die.
Yeah.
Okay, but still.
Nasty water.
It makes sense. But that, again, is a rage killing.
Yeah.
And then he takes time to set the scene. Sean Dooley is a maniac.
Eli.
Yeah.
The way Reverend Butts is posed is the work of a psychotic.
Yeah.
It is absolutely maniacal. So Eli kills Bert because they go way back.
Yes.
Right? They were involved
24 years ago.
They were involved in a con where they sold these gas detectors that were supposed to save people's lives that really didn't work. And a woman died in a fire due to a gas leak that their detector should have prevented. And that woman was Miriam, the wife of the pub owner, the wife of Joe.
It's astronomically
Helena, sorry.
bizarre
Memorial.
that happened like, I don't know, a million miles away.
Right.
And then they all end up in the same place.
No, because it was in Coston.
It was in Coston.
It was like 10 miles away. You know, in the big city where all the cons happen.
My wife has died, and so I'm going to move 15 miles away.
Yeah, from the big city to own a pub. So
why couldn't they say Bedford or Hull?
Let's move to Wales and really have a change of scenery. So
no,
we need
to open the Duck and Dog pub.
Yes. That's not what it's called. It's the Red Lion.
Yes.
So Helena died because of Bert and Eli's con.
Because she saw it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now Bertram is back. Eli snaps. His son is infatuated with the book.
He's throwing his life away. Does it all for Ludo.
Eli loses it, kills Bertram, right? But Venisha is sitting secretly in the woods eating sandwiches or whatever and sees all of it and is desperate for money so that she can spend more money to solve a puzzle where there's really no prize and get money. Oh, God. Throwing good money, bad money after worse money, embezzled money, stolen money. Anyway, so she blackmails Eli, and Eli says, I'll give you the final page, which she thinks will help her solve the puzzle if you meet me, right? Yeah. Sebastian just happens to be in a drunken state of sleepiness, laying down in a pew in his own church, and overhears this arrangement. Yes. So he knows that Eli killed Venisha.
And so
his mother,
Reverend Butts, decides
to blackmail Eli to get the money back for the roof. Why he thinks Eli has money, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because Eli's been doing work for Butts and he's not paid him. So why would Eli have a bunch of money? From that really lucrative farm tea shop.
Never mind the fact that his sign is everywhere.
Because he's a handyman. Yes. He does all the work for all the people everywhere all the time. So then Reverend Butts has to die.
Yep.
Right? I can only guess that if Eli had more time, Ava really should have been next.
Yes.
Because she knows about the embezzlement. She knows about what Venisha's been up to.
Yeah.
So I think it wouldn't take her long to put the pieces together.
No. Though she is astoundingly stupid.
Basically, one by one, Eli probably would have had to kill off half the village if he really wanted to cover everything up.
He already does kill half the village.
He's going to have to knock off some more people, I think. Like, you know, Joe at the pub might be next. I don't know. Joe is such a total red herring because he actually has a motive and didn't kill Bertram.
No, he is a poor man whose wife was killed by a scam.
Yeah, he has every reason to want to take him down, and he doesn't. He lets him sit in the quiz chair and everything. Why does Joe's daughter, Scarlett, have a tantrum in the church?
I don't know. And why is Ludo so angry with her? It has to do with Oxford.
She's going to go to Oxford.
Because Bertram got her in? How on earth could that have happened?
What sway does he have?
I don't know.
Well, he's the famous author of Seeker. Okay.
But, okay, I'm going to tell you there's a thing that we haven't mentioned. How bonkers Ludo is. In the conspiracy hut, written on the board, did you see the thing about the wheels?
No.
Written in all capital letters, underlined 3 times, with lines radiating from it, is the phrase, all the wheels on the bus are square.
Are they?
I don't know. I tried to see.
Pull up the picture. I have the screenshot in the folder, which we will share with all of you. If it has square wheels, I didn't notice.
They are not.
Mark has pulled up the screenshot to confirm the wheels in the bus go round and round.
That is where we are left with this crazy, insane episode.
Just imagine, though, if it was your job to decorate the Seeker Shack.
Yes.
You know, okay, we've done the illustrations for this fake book. We're going to blow them up. Some should be in black and white. Some should be in color. Pin them up all over the place and then doodle on them as if you're trying to solve a mystery. Circle random things. Draw arrows between things that go together, that don't go together. Let's have a map. Oh, let's put a globe on his desk and circle like entire continents on the globe as if those are the hot spots.
I'm telling you, the very first question for Miss Chloe Freaks is, what is up with the wheels on the bus?
They go round and round. They're not square.
Okay, Sarah, there's another problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I want to make this clear. We love this episode.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Okay, 24 years ago, my wife died. Mm-hmm. That's a traumatic event. She died because a man sold her a fake gas detector.
Mm-hmm. That should have saved her life.
He went to prison. Mm-hmm. There was a trial, at the very least. Mm-hmm. At least a sentencing hearing, because he goes up the pogey for a few years.
Yeah.
Would I have not had that man's face burned into my memory so that when he walks into my pub 10, 15, whatever number of years later,
you'd still recognize him.
I would instantly recognize
But Mark,
this.
he's changed his name from Robert to Bertram. Duh.
Oh, that completely changes everything.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Jeez. He wouldn't recognize him. He'd say, "You look a lot like the guy who killed my wife." And he says, "Oh, hello. My name is Robert Jewell, or Bertram Jewell." "Oh, well, then you're not him." "Okay, never mind."
Okay.
Do you have a twin brother? No? Okay.
When Ava goes to talk to Eli's wife, her husband's dead. Mm-hmm. She is out of money.
Yep.
Her
mother-in-law is also dead.
Yes. She had a pretend affair. Mm-hmm. And her last name is Butts. Mm-hmm. Okay. This woman has problems.
Yes.
And Eli's wife goes, "You can have Bertram's old room." The man is in 3 days dead and she gives away his room.
Danny's so ready for him to be out of her house. I'm sure she's already stripped everything out of his room and taken his pictures off the wall. I hope she has. If not, Ava has to move into the room with a picture of the dead guy that she pretended to have an affair with, peeking around a brick wall looking at her all night. I hope Danny's cleaned it out.
Who would put that in the script?
How traumatic would that be?
Oh my God. Well, we're going to get to some trauma because after the episode, there is a lot of trauma.
Danny's going to be kind of like needing a shoulder to cry on anyway because her husband's going to go to prison forever. And her son is now wackadoodle because his dad killed his biggest hero or whatever. And he's never going to know where the treasure was or if there was a treasure. That's done. And, Ava and Danny can just sit around drinking.
Okay.
Your husband killed my husband. Let's be friends.
I did it all for the Ludo. Okay.
But then Sarah wins the quiz.
Okay. As soon as I saw the quiz at the end, I had a problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know Kahn is a smart man. Mm-hmm. He tells us over and over again he's a smart man.
He wears a bow tie sometimes.
He uses fancy language.
Yep.
His shop is called Strings.
Yep.
Oh, I mean
Kahn's Collectibles. He can't spell, but he's smart.
Kahn Collectibles.
Kahn Collectibles.
Never mind all that.
Okay.
This quiz that he got banned for being too smart. Mm-hmm. The pub owner now begs him to come back. Why does the pub owner beg him to come back?
So Sarah doesn't run it, I guess.
And instantly he's in the final. If I was in the other rounds, I would be so pissed.
Wait a minute. Everybody else has a full-on another reason to be pissed off. The detective who's solving a murder in the village for which Joe is a key suspect, his wife is somehow in the lead.
Sarah, how do you spell
suspicious.
dog?
Not suspicious at all. All of this, who solves the puzzle? It can't be any of these people, or it's suspicious. Yep. She's, winning the quiz. I'm not saying Sarah's not smart and she's not studying really hard and she doesn't deserve to win.
Yep.
She gets the last question wrong, as far as I'm concerned. I'll talk about it in a second. But she should have excused herself from this as soon as there was a murder or three.
Yes. Never mind the fact that everywhere is a crime scene.
Stop going to villages where there have been murders to have your little extra activities while your child is mysteriously away. That's why Barnaby's having breakfast at 9:15. They're sleeping in because they don't have to get the kid to school.
There we go.
Ta-da! Now let me tell you why she gets the last question wrong.
Okay, so there's a tie, and then they ask the last question, which is...
Modsmere is an anagram of what?
Which I instantly, the moment I saw the sign for the competition, I was like, that's Midsomer.
Yes. The real answer, though, really should be Sir Modem.
Sir Modem.
Yes. That's the right answer.
The inventor of the modem.
Yes,
Sir Modem.
Sir Modem. I mean,
Sir
come on.
Wesley Modem.
Midsomer's completely made up. Sir Modem, real words.
Real person. Sir Wesley Modem.
Yes.
MBA 1968.
He's probably, MBE by now.
Probably, yes.
Duke Modem. Best corpse?
Okay. By far, the best corpse has to be Bertram.
You think so?
Because he sits there in the ground. Now, they made it so that he wasn't being compressed by the earth.
No, really? They didn't really bury the actor alive?
But
come on.
Somebody had to dig a hole that he's standing in. Okay?
I don't agree with you.
Oh.
I think the Rev Butts is the best one.
Rev. Why are we blessed with an episode with the Rev Butts?
Because he has to kneel and hang his head. His legs are going to sleep. His legs are going to sleep. No,
he's in a lotus position.
Okay, so he has to. Okay, his legs are still going to sleep. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They're still going to sleep.
And he has to hang his head and be perfectly still.
That's true.
Like he's not even allowed to lay down and be still.
Yeah.
That's hard.
What the person who isn't.
And he's wet.
Selena Kyle. It's Selena Kyle. Selena Butts.
Her name is Selena Cadell.
Selena Cadell
or
is
Venisha
not
Butts.
Winning.
Oh, she got the best gig of all. She got to get killed and not even have to play. There's a dummy in there.
Now, let's recall. She is in episode 1, okay, where she commits suicide in her cell. Mm-hmm. Her death is not shown.
Nope.
The second episode she's in, Midsummer Life.
She gets killed in a dryer.
She gets killed in a dryer. We investigated that and clearly pointed out it's a picture of her.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's not in the dryer.
She never shows up as a dead body.
Selena gets her way every time and doesn't actually have to be a corpse. She's smart. She has some of the most dramatic deaths without having to play a corpse. Oh, that's clever.
In episode 1, Tom Barnaby is so mad because she commits suicide.
Yeah.
Because he knows what's going on by then.
Yep.
Oh, okay. After the show.
Well, Danny and Ava are going to do kind of a Thelma and Louise thing.
Okay. What about... What is Ludo going to do with his life?
He's going to have to get over it.
Okay.
And probably spend his time creating what Seeker should have been.
That's what he should do.
Because he spent all this time trying to solve puzzles that don't have a solution.
But he has no money to put up an actual prize.
No, but maybe he can find a publisher who would agree to do it. Because he's got a good story about being so close to the author and the author died. So now he's going to create something to replace it.
Maybe.
And I've got a book for him called Puzzlecraft that he could use if he needs to write the puzzles.
What's
and he's
the cover
confused.
of that look like?
It looks just like Secret.
Okay.
I think that would be a great thing for him to do. Scarlett's going to go to Oxford.
Yep.
Joe's going to run the pub. That's all great.
Kahn's going to run his thing.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for one person.
Who?
Who's not in the episode, but I feel sorry for this person.
Who?
So there has to be a new Rev in that parish.
Yeah.
And that Rev has got to look at the books and explain to the Archbishop of that diocese
that Butts was embezzling.
What's going on with that church. And that is going to be a hard conversation.
Yeah, but they aren't responsible for it at all.
No, but still, as a man of God, you got to feel bad.
You have to look at your boss and say, boss, the mother and son Butts stole all the money.
But the Archbishop goes, but. I always knew he was
But I just hope they don't blame Ava because it's not her fault. She's a victim in all of it.
Ava
She's
is
not
a
very
victim.
sharp and doesn't really have anything now. So
And the publishers can clearly drop this book like a 10-foot pole.
drop it like it's hot.
Yep.
Drop it like a 10-foot pole.
Yes. I don't
You
know
gonna
what
cross that bridge when it hatches or what?
I don't know what that means. Oh my gosh.
That is season 24, episode 2, Book of the Dead. Hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did.
Did we do all of the Watch Like a Maniac?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Our next episode will be number 3 of season 24, which is Claws Out. Mm-hmm. There will be many pets.
Yes.
Maybe we can have all of guest star on the
Pet detectives.
all of the pet detective.
Yeah. Catch us on all the socials. We're everywhere. You know where we are.
Yes.
Let us
and
know what you thought of the episode.
Thank you so much for all your suggestions and emails and all that wonderful stuff. You are all fantastic. We read it all.
Stay warm.
Yes.
Cold front going
It's
through
cold
the
front
If you're
going
in
through.
North America, you're dealing with it.
Yeah, it's cold in England too. All my boaters are dealing with cold. I watch a lot of longboat videos.
Your YouTube canal
Yep.
boat videos.
Yep.
Stay warm, stay happy, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Maniacs.
Bye, Maniacs. Davina is in the woods and sees this. Why is
Venisha.
Davina? Vina?
Venisha.